So honestly, long story short, I think that I can tell you this. When I started understanding that, a lot of things made sense. And when I started understanding the power of sex, it really made me think about why things happen the way that they do. For example, black people have a high amount of trauma from things that we've gone through. So, my wife should be here explaining this better. She can explain it better than I can because she also teaches a class on addiction, a university class. So she's a lot of addictions are an outpouring from trauma. You have unresolved, unhealed trauma, which it's all over the black community. It's like the biggest STD in the black community, if you will, the biggest virus that's out there. And so the result of undiagnosed, unhealed trauma might mean leaning toward various addictions, which might be a sexual addiction. And we don't think of it as an addiction, but it can happen that way, and it just creates a lot of chaos. That's unwanted pregnancies, STDs are like through the roof. And if you watch like the Shade Room, you'll notice every other post is something sexual, right? Sex, 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 right? So I would encourage you to, in your own journey, if you're trying to accomplish goals, financial or otherwise, uh understand yourself, figure out like the areas where you're making mistakes and why those things are happening, and that a lot of times will come through a therapeutic process. And then not only will you understand the world better and understand yourself better, you'll be able to position yourself where you want to be, like, right, like you won't make a plan to go over here and then end up over there. Or like New Year's is coming, how many people do y'all see every year that have these big New Year's resolutions of all these things they want to accomplish this year because 2025 is new and fresh? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a different person. 96% of all people do not fulfill their New Year's resolution. 96%. So you're not going to fulfill the resolution if you just do what everybody else does. You'll be like the 96%. So the question to ask at that point is, if you're serious enough about it, is how do I become part of the 4%? Like what do I need to do to make sure I don't end up keeping continuously making promises to myself? Oh, I'm not gonna mess with this type of girl, or I'm gonna leave this relationship, or I'm gonna build this business, or I'm gonna quit this job. What are you gonna do to make yourself part of the 4%? What are you gonna do? And I can't answer that for you. I'm just encouraging you to ask yourself that question. So let's keep going. Other reasons they say that young women might be attracted to older men. These are the unhealthy reasons. Low self-esteem. They say younger women with low self-worth might gravitate toward older men who they perceive as out of their league, relying on their approval for validation. And again, this is where the whole daddy thing comes, right? Because the daddy is supposed to validate you. The daddy is supposed to tell you that you're beautiful and smart and capable and everything else. And at least where I come from, I'm thinking old school here. Maybe you feel free to disagree with me, but I remember even hearing my mother talk about when she met my father. And she said, I thought he was too attractive for me because all the girls were swooning over him because he had those green eyes. And my father said, though, I thought your mother was beautiful. She was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. But my mother did not see that in herself. So my brother asked a really hard question for her. He says, so why did you feel like why do you think you felt that way about yourself? Why was your self-esteem low? And she said, well, because we had so many kids around growing up.